For the longest time, I have talked about how difficult it is to get a wide-angle look on Super 35 sensors. The 25 doesn't do it, the 35 doesn't do it. And then a little voice in my head told me, just go wider. 18, 12. Is that wide angle enough for you? As much as I love the Blackmagic 6K Pro, there's one drawback, if any, and that's the crop factor. And in most cases, even the crop factor doesn't matter, because you can adjust your shot composition by the placement of your camera to the talent. The one area where crop factor really becomes noticeable and somewhat frustrating is when you try to go wide. No, I mean wide. Which is why I bought these two lenses. And so the real question is, how wide do you have to go to get that broad shot composition? And what do these lenses look like on this camera? But first, let's look at these lenses. I got it. It's like my first unboxing. Thing came in a case. So there's the 18mm lens, and here's the 12. Feels good. All right, so this is the 25, this is the 18. Looks like the rings are in the same place. And here's the 12 and the 25. They feel like my other lenses, which doesn't surprise me. All the markings are the same, just like you would expect from the other lenses. How about the outer diameter? That looks like to be about the same. The 12mm lens is not the same outer diameter, which I have noticed. Okay, so the 12mm lens has an outer diameter of 86mm, while the others have an outer diameter of 77mm. So my first impressions with these lenses are the same as my impressions of the Meike lenses in general, which is that they're really, really good. I already have the 75, the 50, the 35, and the 25, and I think these two lenses will fit right in with those. However, it's not enough to think. Plus, I need to find out, is 18 wide enough? Is 12 wide enough? I wanna know. And so, it's time to do a field test. As we dive deeper into these lenses and what they look like on the Pocket 6K Pro, we need to get into some of the nerdy stuff. When it comes to wide-angle lenses, there are usually two impending questions. How fast are they? And what's the minimum focusing distance? And to answer these two timely questions, I decided to use my son's ridiculously large but incredibly fun Lego set. We'll start with the 18mm lens, which as you can see, can pretty much pick up everything. The parrot and the frog back there that's kind of scaling the wall, that's 4 feet 5 inches away. Our friend on the motorcycle here is 2 feet 1 inches away. The lady using the carrot for a cane, she's 1 foot 5 inches away. And the guy with the really expensive seats right here in the front, he hits the minimum focusing distance at 9.8 inches away. Before we go any further, I guess we should talk about what the term minimum focusing distance means. In short, the minimum focusing distance is the shortest distance at which a lens can focus. If you try to get closer or shorter than this distance, you'll find yourself in that out of focus range. In other words, you need to back up a little bit. Now the interesting thing is that this distance is not measured from the end of your lens to the subject. This distance is measured from the focal plane on the camera body to the subject, or where the image sensor is to the subject. And so the minimum focusing distance for the 18mm lens is, needless to say, close. The 12, even closer. Our guy up front is only 7.8 inches away from the sensor, which means the end of my lens is almost touching him. The lady with the carrot walking cane is 1 feet 5 inches away. Mr. Motorcycle Man is 2 feet 1 inches away. And our wall scaling frog is 4 feet 5 inches away. That's what it all looks like. Now that we got that very important question in the bag, what do you say we stop filming Legos and shoot some real people? I'm here in this nice living room and we're going to light this scene. I have the 6K Pro right here with the 18mm lens on it. I decided not to put a diffusion filter on there so that we can see what the scene looks like without any diffusion. To go over really quickly, this was a 5-light setup. Light number 1, light number 2. But this lamp has a party trick. When I was setting up the lights and I was trying to get the right look for the room, I noticed that the area in the back was really dark. So I could either A, bring in another light, which I didn't want to do, or B, adjust the settings in my camera or in post. Or I can do what I did, which was cut a giant hole in the back of the lamp, which allows light to spill on the background or spill wherever this hole is pointed to. This is the same method that I used in the previous short film, so very clever. Another small light right here. And finally, this tube light, which has to get through this flag jungle. Some of this stuff is just kind of resting up here. Let's see if I can get this Boom, like that. When it was all said and done, this is what the final scene looked like, fully lit and ready to go. Now, this focal length is the 18mm lens. I should note that with a wide angle lens, if you want to get that really good shallow depth of field and your camera is not in close proximity to your talent, you'll need a large space, preferably with some depth. Cool, so that was the 18, now this is the 12. Now I intentionally left the C-stand and everything where they previously were so that you can see how wide this shot actually is. And then here me just getting some random shots from different perspectives to show you what kind of composition these lenses can give you. And remember, this is a really improvised test. I also went outside to let you see what a landscaping type of shot would look like and whether or not you can get one, which I think you can. And so to me, this lens is a gem. With the addition of these two lenses, I feel like I have all of the lenses in the set. I'm not gonna buy the 100 because I don't feel like I need it. Actually, Mikey, if you're watching this, why don't you send me the 100, okay? I didn't spend enough money. So that's the 18 and the 12. I should really test these lenses by shooting in a small environment, like a tiny house or something. Oh. Yeah, be blessed, stay inspired. I always shoot for the difference. Babe!